All right, let's jump right in. I want you to picture this. It's midnight, New York City. The ball has just dropped at Times Square. It's not just a new year, it's a new decade. The 1970s are officially over and the 1980s have just begun. And in that exact moment, Reverend Sun Myung Moon gives a prayer. But this isn't just any prayer. It's basically a spiritual and strategic roadmap for the entire future of his movement. So we're going to break down exactly what he said.
So the prayer kicks off with this really simple but man, powerful statement. He's just stating a fact, right? But it's so much more than that. This is a declaration. Reverend Moon is basically drawing a clear line in the sand. He's saying, okay, everything that came before, all the struggles, all the hardships, that chapter is now closed. A new beginning is here. But before looking ahead to that new beginning, the prayer takes a really significant look back. It grounds the entire identity of the movement in a history of some pretty profound hardship. We're talking personal struggles for him and collective struggles for his followers. And this isn't just about remembering the past. It's presented as the absolute foundation for everything that's about to come. The story really starts on a personal note. Reverend Moon talks about his own life, starting from what he calls a miserable and humble background in Korea. And he frames it all as being guided by a divine hand. He speaks about a period of upheaval and tears in his youth, but suggests that this suffering wasn't just random. No, it was a necessary part of his spiritual training. And all of that leads to this central, powerful image from the prayer, treading the thorny path of history. Now, this phrase is absolutely key. It paints this vivid picture of a really difficult, painful journey. And not just for him, but for everyone in the movement. It basically positions suffering as this core, unavoidable part of their divine mission. Now, you might think this thorny path sounds kind of random, right? But no, the prayer lays out how it all fits into this very deliberate 21-year plan. It was broken down into 3 distinct 7-year courses. So this wasn't just a series of things that happened. It's presented as this methodical, step-by-step construction of a whole new history. Okay, so let's break down this timeline because it's super important. It all kicks off in 1960 with the Holy Matrimony, which starts that first 7-year course. Then, boom, 1968. They hit a huge milestone, the proclamation of God's Day. 2 years later, in 1970, the focus shifts to the national level with the 2nd course. And then, just a year after that, the mission goes global. You can see how each of these is framed as a crucial building block. So this God's Day, what is it exactly? Well, the prayer defines it as this incredible moment of breakthrough. It's the day when, for the first time, a direct, joyful relationship with God could finally be established. According to the text, this was a massive victory that was won during that really difficult first 7-year period. But then, when he talks about that 2nd course, the whole mood changes. It's called a heartbreaking, painful memory. This was the time when the followers, the families, were asked to shoulder a really heavy burden. The prayer explains that this sacrifice was necessary because other groups, the established church and the nation, had supposedly failed to do their part. And all of that pain and sacrifice, well, it sets the stage for the next big move, America. This was the 3rd course, the expansion into the United States during the 1970s. And the prayer doesn't talk about this like it's some simple missionary trip. Oh no, it's depicted as a full-scale spiritual battle right in the heart of the democratic world. You can really feel the energy in this quote, can't you? The image of blowing a trumpet to march forward. It's so decisive, almost militant. America wasn't just another country on the list. It was seen as the strategic center of the world. Their arrival there is presented as the beginning of a major, major campaign. And let me tell you, it was not an easy fight. The prayer is very upfront about this, calling it a difficult battle that was fought in difficult circumstances. It acknowledges the intense opposition and persecution they really faced in America during that decade. But despite all of that, the prayer declares that the outcome was nothing less than a glorious victory. Okay, so they win this huge, glorious victory, but who gets the credit? This is a really important theological point. The prayer is crystal clear. This glorious victory does not belong to the Unification Church or to me. It is only your victory. So all their success, it's not framed as the result of human effort or strategy, but as an act of God's will. And right here, this is the pivot, the absolute turning point of the whole prayer. After establishing this long history of struggle and then divine victory, the focus makes this sharp, dramatic turn away from the past and towards the future.
It's time to lay out a brand new, bold vision for the 1980s.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? Look at the contrast. The 1970s, that's the decade of tears, persecution, suffering, all these negative words. But the 1980s, that's going to be the decade of hope and glory. It's like night and day. The message is clear. The time for sorrow is over, and the time for triumph has arrived.
So how are they going to achieve all this hope and glory? Well, they get a new motto, a new mission statement. Home church is the base of the kingdom of heaven. This becomes the central game plan for every single follower. This huge, grand vision of a kingdom of heaven on earth, it's going to be built from the ground up, starting right in people's homes and neighborhoods.
And then the prayer gets super practical. It lays out a clear 5-step action plan. First, members have to get over the immaturity of the past. Second, fulfill all their duties. Third, establish their own personal base for this kingdom. And check out the attitude required. You have to invest every ounce of effort with gratitude, no complaining, and you have to be bold and strong. It's a very direct, very demanding charge.
But, and this is a big but, that hope and glory isn't going to just fall into their laps. The prayer uses some incredibly intense language here, saying that the future depends on a willingness to invest our effort and determination in bloody strife. Wow. That suggests that this new decade, while hopeful, is also going to be a period of intense struggle and total sacrifice.
And that's what leaves us with this really fascinating final thought. This prayer masterfully weaves a story where a history of pain, persecution, that thorny path, isn't a weakness. It's the essential ingredient for a future of victory. It just makes you wonder, how does a story built on so much suffering get so powerfully transformed into a vision of hope and glory?